What's happening, YouTube? Hey, you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little under the weather right now, so my voice isn't quite what I'd like it to be. But I did want to bring you in here before I get everything cleaned up and give you a quick update on the Power Stroke project. So let's say we go for a little walk. Did take some time last night before I started this video and unloaded the back of the truck. Bed liner's slick when it's oily, I'll tell you what. Still a little bit of stuff here in the back seat. I've just got AC box and a box of mirrors and some trim and interior pieces. Nothing too notable. I thought I'd take you for a walk, kind of bring a little bit of closure to this project. At least provide a little bit of an update. Had to get the truck unloaded so I could use it today. Got a skid of drive shafts here. I've taken some notes on a few of them. Got nasty Dana 50 parts. Ugh. Nobody likes those, right? A couple of leaf springs would work good as an add a leaf for a F350. There's 3-inch down pipe. Looks like somebody tapped it for a pyro. It's the wrong spot for one, but whatever. What else have we got? A bunch of odds and ends in here. I've probably got 3 or 4 stock air boxes. There's an engine adapter. New cab corner. Custom shift lever. What do you think? Is that better than the stock 5-speed shift lever or no? I've got a couple of those. It's a manual transmission pedal box. A bunch of parts for locking hubs. Alternators and spindles and accessory drives and power steering pumps, and somewhere in there's a frame for a crew cab long bed, 2-wheel drive. Got a full set of 6 dually tires and wheels. These are actually kind of cool wheels. They're, I don't know if you can see them. Those are off of a Super Duty model E450. So they've got the proper bolt pattern to fit an OBS truck, but instead of the 4 big holes like we generally see in the Bud style wheels, like those, these have got bullet holes in them. So they're kind of cool looking. Be a cool set of wheels for somebody to clean up and refinish, put them on their dually. But they are 2-wheel drive, so if you're going to run wide tires, you'd have to put a spacer in the back. There's an aftermarket Texas bumper. This is kind of interesting. This was kind of just thrown into the deal. It's an old Dana 60 rear, but I believe, I didn't look real closely, but I believe it is a limited slip carrier. So if anybody sees this and you know for sure, I'm curious whether or not that limited slip carrier could be reused in a Dana 60 front axle. Basically to put limited slip in the front end. A couple crates here with a bunch of odds and ends, some interior stuff, fuel selector switch, wiring, some steering gearboxes, sector shaft, tie rods, a couple of Sterling carriers back there. Some of those have got some bad gears and stuff in them, but they'd be a decent carrier if somebody needed one. Some more dually rims. What else? Set of 1-ton springs for the rear. Just a bunch of stuff. Stock cat. can see in there or not. It's got the mesh in it still. Nobody's gutted it yet. A couple of 80s hubcaps. Might put those on farm truck or something here when we pedal it. A bunch of gauge clusters in here. Parts and pieces of another air box. Just a bunch of stuff. There's a jack handle. Tire iron for a friend of mine that I've been putting aside. A bunch of odds and ends. Transfer case, shift linkages. AC condenser. Manual trans, floor hump. Just a bunch of junk. There's another pedal box. Starter. What else? What else can I get you? What else do you need? 2 or 3 sets of U-bolts. 1 set of F350 rear blocks. It's the 4-inch block, not the ones that they used in the F250. I'll walk you down here and show you some of the other stuff. So the update on the process so far is that I've got all the trucks home. There's one more truck that's down there. It's not really anything that's much good to me. There's a couple of parts and pieces that I would have liked to have taken off of it. But the thing had a huge bee's nest in the back, and they just wouldn't let me get close enough to get them. So I will probably plan to try and get that stuff off of it here at some point. Talking with the seller, that guy's a good friend of mine. There's a couple other engine blocks down there that may or may not be usable, but I'd still like to have for parts. So he's talking about actually making a trip up here at some point. He might bring me the rest of the parts. It's probably not more than what would fit in the back of a pickup. What else we got in here? Doors. So there are 2 sets of front doors and that set of white rear crew cab doors. So we got those. I think those are crank rears. A couple of door panels. There's another floor hump. There's another box in there with some other miscellaneous stuff in it. A couple of boxes anyway. Got some solid rear glass for OBS. Rear window though, I mean. There's some ZF5 front cases. I think one of them's a gas, the other 2 are diesel. Of course, the bolt pattern around the bell housing is not the same. Diesel or gas. A couple more shift levers, a bunch of hard parts from the inside of the ZFs. And I think there's a couple more skids in here. There's 3 ZF5s, 4x4s, all of them in various stages of usability, but some good parts there for sure. A couple of automatic transmissions, E4 O'Deers, one 2-wheel drive, one 4x4. I think both of those are going to need a rebuild, but they'd be good for a core. And then some transfer cases. There's 2 4407s there and 2 1356s. This one 1356 is from an F350. I didn't realize that they were different, but the F350s actually have the cover in them for a PTO. I didn't realize they didn't do those in the F250 version. So, actually I think they both do. Yeah, they do. Both of them have the cover for the PTO. Another tranny cross member. So, that's about it. There's probably other stuff that's buried in that trailer. But at this point, I think I'm done making trips down there. I'm going to get started on working on these trucks. So, kind of the progression for these trucks is going to be to get a couple of these ready to go. Try to unload them here fairly quickly. First one to go will probably be this guy. It's a good solid truck. The rust is starting getting after the cab a little bit, but still not a bad looking truck. Runs great. We drove it 5 hours home. I was comfortable enough to let my mom drive it all the way home. Power everything. It's got keyless entry and power windows and air conditioning. Frees you out of the cab. This is the one that's got a real clean red interior in it too. So I'm probably going to sell this as a whole truck. I think this guy's too nice to be parted out. Some little things. I need to put bushings in the doors. Make a little adjustment there on the door, the fender, so it's not binding. Put an exhaust on this one, clean it up good, and send it on down the road. So that one will probably go first. Then the thought is that I'll probably prep that white one. That'll go next. This one, I'm not sure what direction I want to go, if I want to put a bunch of effort into it or not. I'm probably just going to make it a passable driver and sell it to somebody as a good work truck or a farm truck. It's an XL truck, so it's never going to be real nice anyway. I'll probably just leave steel wheels on it, put a working hood on it, and try and get that one moved. This black one I'm not sure about. It's a pretty good looking truck, and my 13-year-old son is kind of taking a liking to this one, so I may try to hang on to this one and use it around the farm here a little bit for the next few years in hopes that that may become his first truck. And then I think I've mentioned before kind of the debate, the internal debate, the conflict, the tension in which I live right now is whether to keep the dually and sell my white truck, or to keep my white one and sell the dually. But the dually's going to need a little bit of work as well. The gauges in it, pillar gauges, all need to be replaced. I need to do a couple other things to this one as well. It's got a coolant issue at the moment. It's losing some coolant, and we're not really sure where it's going. It's not ending up in the oil, but we're not really sure where it's going. So I need to do a pressure test on the cooling system on this guy and try and figure out what's going on with that. Then once those are done, I guess we'll begin parting some of this stuff out. So that's kind of where we're at today. Like I said, I apologize. My voice sounds terrible, and I don't feel a ton better than what I sound. But I did want to bring you in here and give you an update before I get everything unpacked and inventoried and put away. So that's where we're at. We'll bring you in here when we got something else to update you with. Thanks for watching.